Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another TheMMATakeover.com interview. My name is Keith Gillen. Today's guest is a return guest, or as we like to call him, a member of the MMA Takeover family. He's been a professional mixed martial arts fighter for 9 years. He's a veteran of both Bellator and the UFC. He has a 7-3 UFC record and is riding a 4-fight winning streak inside the octagon. He returns to action at UFC Fight Night 108 on April 22nd when he takes on Thales Leites. Ladies and gentlemen, smiling Sam Alvey. Sam, welcome back. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me back on.
Yeah, man, it was great. I mean, you're definitely one of the people who said, hey, we heard you talk to Sam Alvey. When are you going to get him back? So we ran into you at CES 42. You were cornering Chris Curtis, who fought in the main event. Got a knockout. So when I saw you, I said, well, we got to get him back on. So all the people are happy.
Yeah, he did fantastic. It was good to see you guys out there, too. It was quite the surprise. I didn't realize you were going to be there.
Yeah. No, we appreciate that, Sam. So, Sam, let's talk about that knockout. You're cornering Chris Curtis, who's the CES MMA welterweight champion. You were in his corner. Eric Spicely was also in his corner. What a fantastic fight. He was in the main event. He was going against Wilfredo Santiago, who, if you don't follow for Wilfredo, he's got a lot of power, big puncher. He was, I mean, if I'm being 100% honest, and I think you'd probably agree with me, he was teeing off on Chris in the first round. And then he was kind of, the second round started off the same way. And then Chris caught him with a two-piece combination that hurt him, did a flying knee to the body and finished him off. So, I mean, how exciting was it to be in his corner when that happened?
Oh, it was thrilled. I mean, Chris, he just performed the game plan. I mean, we didn't want to win round one. We wanted to see what he had to offer. We were going to tag his body a couple times if it offered because Kurt is really good at that the body shots. And he did that. Hit him twice, real solid with the body shots. Round two, kicked the air out of him a little bit. And really didn't get hit. He blocked everything. We got back to the corner, and he said, "Oh, he's got nothing that'll even hurt me, Sam. He doesn't hit nearly as hard as we thought." And then round two started, and then Curtis got tagged. Like, oh, got a little wobbly knee, but not in bad shape. Just as well able to dance around from it. And just turn it up like we figured. Round two, we were gonna, finish him. That was the game plan. We wanted to see what he had, try and get a read on what he looks like, and then finish round two. And Curtis did just that.
So I was talking to Curtis, and he said, Sam told me to, what do you say? I think it was, you got to take a chance to make a chance. So he told me that, and I was thinking about it. I put it on an article in the recap, and just so you know, I used that quote recently. I was a friend of mine. We played fantasy baseball together. I offered him a trade. We were kind of negotiating back and forth, and I told him, "Hey, man, you got to take a chance to make a chance." So, yeah, your whatever you told him is going all over now.
Oh, I'm like a philosophy major now.
Yeah.
People are going to be quoting me, and they don't even know they're quoting me.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. I mean, all the people in the Southern New England Fantasy Baseball, actually, it's called the Ocean State Fantasy Baseball League. They're quoting Sam Alvey.
Well, good. They're all a little smarter for it too.
So let's keep talking about Chris. He's the welterweight champion. Have you talked to Dana White? Have you talked to Sean Shelby? But like, hey man, check out this guy's last fight. He's got to get the call to the big stage. Have you talked to them about him yet?
Well, my wife is the actual manager. I like that term coach or buddy a little bit more. But my wife is. Oh yeah, they've been talking about him for a while.
Okay.
Just truth be told, he'd be in the UFC right now if it wasn't for that terrible decision again 3 fights ago.
Yeah, you're talking about the Burrell one.
Where I truly believe that 3 fights ago, and he talked to the promoters at CES too. They kind of said the same thing. Is they think the judges got confused on who was the blue corner, who was the red corner, and it's a shame because that was the fight that was going to put Chris into the UFC. But now Chris on a 2-fight winning streak in MMA, 2-fight winning streak included in boxing, and the UFC is paying attention to him.
Okay. So it's definitely somebody. If you haven't checked out Curtis, make sure you check him out. Definitely check out his last fight at CS 42 in the main event. It was a fantastic fight, fantastic finish. Very exciting. The place was rocking during it. Obviously, Santiago was from Massachusetts. We were fighting in Rhode. Well, I shouldn't say we. They were fighting in Rhode Island. We were both there in attendance. A lot of obviously Santiago had a big push, being that not far from home, but it was extremely exciting. So make sure you check that out. So one thing that kind of caught out to my eyes is that Eric Spicey was also cornering him. You two guys have recently fought each other. How did you guys get hooked up? For both of you guys to be cornering him.
Eric and I have always been cool. Even after the fight, we kind of liked each other right away. So any chance, we always, wish each other luck and good luck and all that. When I fought in Colorado, he fought on the same card.
Okay.
We ended up going out a week early, not together, but we ended up training at the same place also.
Okay.
So for a week, we got to just hang out with one another and train with one another.
Yeah.
And that's where Curtis met him as well.
Okay.
So Curtis knew that the fight was in his backyard. So months ago, I asked if Spicely, work out with him and corner him.
Okay. Did you guys get to train a little together? Because I know he's known for his jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, we went to his Triforce gym.
Oh yeah,
That's a fantastic gym. Yeah, a great couple guys. They actually showed me a submission that that I pulled off on my team yesterday.
Oh,
so
cool.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, that was probably Pete Jeffrey and his brother Keith Jeffrey run that place over in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. We actually were doing a documentary on a local fighter that trains out of that gym. So we did a lot of filming on the guy there. So it was pretty cool. So you working with these guys. You fight in Thales Leites. He's really known for his jiu-jitsu. Any secrets Spicely showed you, or Keith and Pete showed you?
You know what? It's not a secret. It's don't get submitted, and that's kind of the gist of it. I'm a very simple fighter. I know at the end of the day, I want to hit him harder and hit him more often than he hits me. Yeah. And don't get submitted.
Okay.
And those have been the two rules of my entire career, and they've worked pretty well so far.
Yeah.
I had a couple slip-ups, but then that's where my wife comes in and reminds me, remember, Sam, don't get hit.
Don't get hit, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that.
Yeah. I always think about there was a time when Diego Sanchez fought Josh Koscheck, and Diego was trying to talk junk to Koscheck, and he said, well, Koscheck doesn't like to get hit. And Koscheck's like, am I supposed to like getting hit? Is that the point, to not get hit? So, you're a guy, your strategy usually is smile at him and punch him, right?
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's what it's going to come down to. He's going to get a big grill coming off me, and I'm going to punch him in his grill.
Okay, so let's talk about your last fight. Last time we had you on was November. It was part of our 12 hours of MMA marathon we were doing for the Jimmy Fund, which is we were raising money to fight against cancer. You obviously was gracious enough to come on for that, which was super cool. I was trying to push you to tell us that you were fighting Nate Marquardt. I even said his name. You couldn't budge. I tried. Obviously, since then, you fought Nate Marquardt. You won. You really won in dominant fashion. You beat up his face pretty bad. He was busted up pretty good. Did you expect the fight to be that easy? Or should I say, let me rephrase it. At home,
I was say easy is not the word.
Yeah, I should rephrase it. It looked easy from at home. If you're watching from home.
Yeah, no, I did what I had to do, and there were a couple of things I wish I would have done more. Okay. My wife and then my corner Gustavo, they wanted me to throw a kick, and I just refused to do it, and I don't know why. Okay. Would have loved to have done that. Maybe in this fight, we'll see. But yeah, he hit me a few times. I took a few weeks off after that, and I never do. I never take any time off. But it was, I said he hits hard. Yeah. And so I gave my brain a little time to relax before Sean Strickland got to beat me up again. Yeah. And and then I got the call for Thales. Okay.
Now, you didn't show that you were hurt at all in the fight. Like, it didn't seem that way. Obviously, I know. I'm not the one getting punched in the face, so I'm not questioning what you're saying.
That was I don't think during the fight I felt anything go wrong. I got hit. Everyone gets hit a little bit, but nothing really hurt. Yeah. It was I felt enough. I had enough of a headache afterwards that I wanted to relax a little bit for a week or two.
Okay, so you beat Marquardt. He's obviously a big name. Would you say this is the best one of your career?
Oh, Oh, hands down. I mean, I don't think there's a. I fought some studs, but I think he's hands down the best I've ever fought. And he fought Anderson Silva. He fought for titles. He was a Strikeforce champion.
Yep.
He's the first real champion I've ever fought and beat.
Yeah, he's a king of pancrase too.
Yeah, king of pancrase. I mean, he's been. Like I said in our last interview, no, maybe I didn't.
No, you didn't. I was trying to get you to say it.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you who I was fighting.
I was trying.
Well, I was thinking pretty hard. He was a black belt before I started fighting.
Yeah,
I mean,
crazy.
He's been fighting since before I knew what the UFC was.
Yeah.
And it's not that he's old. He just has been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, he was. I mean, he's been around. He started really young. He fought everybody. I mean, yeah. So obviously, it must have been cool to be able to beat a guy that big of a name. So
it was great, and he was, my coach on the Ultimate Fighter, and it was such an honor to get to share an octagon with him.
All right, cool. Now let's talk about Thales Leites, another big name. I mean, another guy who's challenged for the title. He's been around for a long time. He's been ranked in the top 10 for a long time. He's currently not ranked in the top 10, but top 15, top 20 guy. How did this fight come together? Is it something that you asked for? Were you pushing for it, or did they just approach you about
it? My wife called the UFC and said, "Hey, Sam wants to fight. Sam tied the record. He wants what he's calling his legacy fight." And they said, "Okay, how about this guy?" We said, "Yeah, let's do it."
Yeah.
So we got Thales Leites, and this is my legacy fight. This sets the record for the UFC. It's going to be the most fights in 1 year's time, and the most wins in 1 year's time.
Okay.
So I'm pretty excited.
And at one full 365 days.
365 days. I have June 18th to fight one more time, and then I hold the record myself. Right now, I'm tied with Cowboy Cerrone, Neil Magny, and Roger Huerta.
Yeah. Okay.
And in one fight's time, I take the record.
Well, I was surprised to hear that Roger Huerta but the other two, Magny and Cowboy. Now, by saying that, you probably just challenged Cowboy, and he's probably going to fight 3 times by UFC 210. He'll probably take 3 fights on the same card or something,
Yeah. That's why I want to fight 2 more times by June 18th. I want Leites, and I want another one.
So you don't want to just beat the record. You don't want to beat the record. You don't want to just beat the record. You want to shatter it.
I want to. Like I said, this is my legacy. This is years from now, 100 years from now. Martians will be down here saying, "Wow, that Sam Alvey, he was the biggest badass of everyone that's ever lived."
Yeah.
And if I can get 2 more fights by June 18th, I think that's exactly what they'll be saying.
All right, so I mean, when you break down the fight, obviously, you get this isn't 1996 where you have this, striker versus grappler stereotype. But when most people are going to analyze this fight, that's what they're going to say. They're going to say, Leites has always been known for his jiu-jitsu. You've always been known for your striking. Classic striker versus grappler. Do you view it that way, or do you, how do you view it?
It's a fight. I mean, if he's smart, he's going to want to take it to the ground, and if I'm smart, I'm going to want to keep it standing, but it's MMA. I'm ready. I submitted Eric Spicely, and he's a black belt.
Yeah.
He's an established jiu-jitsuer.
Yep.
Jiu-jitsu, as I call him. And so I'm very confident in MMA. I just happen to hit pretty hard, too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Spicely is also coming off. He's coming off 2 submission wins in the UFC, too, so it makes it even look better for you.
Yeah. Yeah, he's beaten ranked fighters at both of those submissions.
His win over Thiago Santos, that was a huge upset. I mean, not many people were giving him a shot. Most people thought he was just kind of getting brought in for a win for Santos.
Well, I'm sorry, could you say that one more time?
Yeah, no, I was just saying how Spicely, his first win over Thiago Santos, I mean, most people didn't expect that to happen. He was kind of getting brought in to lose to Santos. And then he pulled a big upset, first-round submission. Yeah,
and I would love to say I bet on him, but I didn't put any money on that fight. I'm not a big fan of betting on Brazil or in Brazil.
Yeah.
But
I know where you were going with that.
Yeah. It didn't surprise me. He is one of the strongest fighters I've ever fought. And I know it wasn't a long time, but in a little bit of an exchange we had, he was powerful.
Yeah.
And he kind of has the same build as me, where we're athletic, but we don't look like Vitor.
Yeah.
At least Vitor used to look.
Yeah. Well, you might have to take something to look like how Vitor looked.
Yeah. But he he's a powerful dude, and it's really cool to see him walking through the UFC like he is right now.
All right, so I mean, you just talked about your build. We're filming this right now. It's April 5th. It's a little after 4 p.m. on the East Coast, 1 p.m. on the West Coast. So I saw you in person at CES 42 at the weigh-ins. I talked to you a little bit that day. I talked to you the next day after the fights. And you're big, man. Like, you're a very big middleweight, or at least that's just how it seems. How much do you weigh? Or like, how much do you walk around? How much are you weighing right now? You're gonna weigh in a little over 2 weeks from now. Like, how much weight do you cut?
Right now, I'm waking up at 207 pounds.
Okay.
That's where I am right now. I've got just under 3 weeks to go, so I'm beautiful. Between camps, if I have time to lift, I get up to about 225.
Okay.
And then I cut down from there, and I can cut as fast as I need to. I'll never miss weight ever, not once, never will. But 8 weeks is a lot more fun to cut weight in than 4 weeks.
Okay, so you got, if my math's correct, you still have 21 pounds to go.
Yeah. Yep.
And how much, like, you show up to the UFC, you get there a couple of days early. Like, how much do you crash in that last minute?
So if I have to weigh in on Friday, on Tuesday morning, I like to weigh at 200 pounds. My last fight, I was a little heavy. Last fight, I was at about 201.4. Yeah. But I had George Lockhart with me, so I was still about the easiest weight cut I've ever had. And actually, I'm going to bring out George Lockhart for this one too.
Okay.
So he's gonna make it as easy on me as possible.
Okay, so that you get that specialist. He's watching your diet, knows what to cut. He's monitoring you during the weight cut. All right, so let's talk about afterwards. I mean, obviously, everyone loves when you jump on the mic. You seem like you're the life of the party when you get on the mic. You're having fun. You're talking. A lot of things you always do. You always like to call out your next opponent, and you never seem like you're doing it in like a, this guy's a bitch, I can beat him. More of like, hey man, this guy's like doing his thing. He's really great. I'd love to fight him. So who's the plan? Who's the next guy?
Well, I don't know who's next just yet. I'm still researching who I want. But I've always said I like fighting my friends.
Okay.
And I might say that route, but then again, I might start a vengeance tour.
Okay.
My coach and mentor Dan Henderson has been beaten a few times in his career, and only a few times.
Yeah.
And there's a few of those fighters that are still kicking. And the 2017 vengeance tour might be in the works.
Okay, so
my own fan.
All right, so you got your hit list. So it's going to be coming. I mean, you said something like, "I like to fight my friends," and that's always like he wants to fight his friends. Okay, so it's going to be a vengeance tour, guys who've beaten Dan Henderson. So right away, first name that comes to my mind is Vitor Belfort. I mean, is that the guy? That's the guy you want?
See, I was thinking Daniel Cormier, but I suppose.
Okay. Okay. All right. UFC light heavyweight champion of the world. I mean, he might not be the light heavyweight champion when you get to fight him. He fights 3 days from now. So Daniel Cormier is the guy you might want a piece of.
Yeah. I'll let Anthony Johnson take care of my light work.
Okay. yeah. So one guy that comes to my mind, and I know it's probably not one you're interested in, but we recently interviewed him, was Gerald Meerschaert, and you guys are both from a similar area. You both fought twice outside of the octagon. He won once, you won once. Is that a fight you're interested in? Will you want to finish up the trilogy?
Nope, absolutely not.
No?
Gerald's a great guy. Love him to death. I hate rematches. I didn't want to rematch him, and he had beat me. But
really?
They offered me a bunch of money. Yeah. I hate rematches. My body has only got so many fights in it. I'm only going to be able to compete for so long. I don't want to waste my competitions on the same guy over and over again. And like I said, I hope someday I'm going to get that belt around my waist. I would happily fight Gerald Meerschaert for a title fight.
Okay.
But I think it would have to be something big like that.
Yeah.
I don't like rematches.
Yeah. So just one where. I'm sorry.
I've been beaten 7 times in my career, and I don't want to rematch with any of them.
Wow.
They beat me on that day, and that's.
Yeah.
I was pissed then, but I'm all right with it now.
Yeah. All right, so let's do this. Let's do some dream fights. The UFC comes to you. Or let's just do a dream fight in general. You get to fight anybody ever in history, anybody not named Dan Henderson, because I know you've answered that before. Anybody in history you get to fight at any time period, any weight class. Who you picking?
Well, Well, isn't this one of those questions I'm supposed to answer like Hitler? Yeah, give me Hitler.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean an actual MMA fighter. Yeah. No, I mean an actual.
MMA fighter. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? He's still kicking. Anderson Silva.
Okay.
And it's funny because it is probably as bad a matchup for me as there is. But he's incredible, and to be able to have an octagon experience with him would make my career.
Yeah, no, I definitely could see that. Especially, you've been in the middleweight division for a very long time. Obviously, he was the champion of the middleweight division for an extremely long time, and some people consider him the greatest fighter ever. I mean, he's at least in the discussion. He's on the short list. So yeah, that one makes sense. So let's talk about you outside the octagon. Everyone talks to you. We know who you fight and this and that, but let's find out about you outside the octagon. So, you get some free time. You're always in camp, but you get some free time. Besides spending time with your family, what do you like to do to pass the time?
I love video games. Okay. I just bought the Nintendo Switch last week.
Okay.
I've been glued to Zelda. I mean, this is the hardest, biggest Zelda game that's ever been.
Oh, yeah?
I'm playing it every chance I get.
Uh-huh.
I was out with Chris last week, and I was just on Zelda every second.
Okay.
He didn't need me.
Okay.
So I love video games probably more than I should.
Really? Do you do the? I don't really play video games, but do you do the ones where you put the headphones in, you talk to other people across the country and stuff? You do that stuff? Or?
No, because that takes too much effort. I got to learn how to do it, and I got to talk to people, and I don't have a ton of free time. I don't want to spend that time talking to people.
Yeah.
And, outside of fighting, I teach at my gym too. I'm one of the busiest instructors at our gym. I teach the kids, I teach the adults, I teach everything, and so I talk a lot.
Yeah.
And when I get home, I'm so done with talking.
Yeah. And you do a lot of interviews, obviously.
Yeah, and I love it all. But when it comes time to just playing my games, I just want to play my games.
So, one game all time. What's your favorite one?
Super Smash Bros.
Okay.
Yeah, huge fan of Super. I'm a Nintendo guy. I play all the other stuff. I have a PS4 and an Xbox One and all that, but it's Nintendo that steals my heart every time.
Okay. Yeah, I remember when I was a little kid, my favorite one was Contra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably more difficult game than I play.
No. There was a little password you could put in the beginning. I bet you anybody who's listening now who's about my age.
Code.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Konami code.
Yeah, everyone who's about my age would know it without even up, down, left, right, B, A. And then depending on if it was one player or two players, you put start or select start, depending on if it was one or two players. And you had to do it. It was like a time thing. You had to do it super fast. It was like 10 seconds. You had to do all that in. And then you get like in unlimited life, and there's no way you couldn't beat it. So let's get into some weird stuff. So, besides all the dumb questions I'm asking you, what's the dumbest question anybody has ever asked you when you've told them you've been a professional, you're a professional mixed martial arts fighter? Has the lady at the supermarket been like, "Is that where people die?" Things like that. What's the dumbest question you've been asked?
It's not the question that I get very often. And it always surprises me when I get, even though I get it all the time. I think you guys even asked me, how'd you get the name Smiling Sam?
Yeah.
Well, if you've met me for any amount of minutes, you'll understand how I got the name Smiling Sam.
Yeah, because you're smiling. You're happy, you're smiling, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not, like I said, not a dumb question. It's just, you guys kind of know who I am.
Yeah. So one question I always get fascinated by how fans act around fighters. What's the weirdest, most awkward moment you've had with a fan?
The fan, huh?
It was you last week at CS42. You wouldn't leave me alone.
I'm trying to think. There's not one sticks out. There's always, kind of fun now everywhere I go. You know what? Here's one. Recently, it actually happened last weekend.
Okay.
I was leaving on the airplane to come home, and we had a layover in Boston, I believe.
Okay.
And our plane was delayed by 30 minutes. And so I was landing. The passengers actually let me out of the plane before them because I had 10 minutes to get there. So I'm running through the airport to get there, and as I'm kind of jogging, doing my thing, somebody said, "Are you smiling, Sam?" I said, "Yeah, it's me. Nice to meet you." And then I kept going. The dude followed me to the gate. As I'm like, "Oh my God!" He brings it. "Can I get your autograph?" Yes. So I scribble on that, and then I'm on the plane.
Oh, how funny!
That one was. And that was just, 4 days ago or 5 days ago. Whenever I got there.
He got his autograph though. He got a little workout out of it.
He got what he got.
So obviously, you just talked about long weight cut. So get done with this fight. What's that one food you crave when you don't have to be on a strict diet?
I love pizza. Pizza.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty lame answer because everybody loves pizza.
Yeah.
But they all should love pizza because pizza's fantastic.
Yeah, that's right. Is there a certain way you like it? Deep dish, thin crust, what?
Deep dish. There's not a bad way to make pizza.
Yeah, I know.
But deep dish is where the money's at. My wife makes a good deep dish pizza.
Okay. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. That probably would have been my answer too. And it's bad pizza is still better than pretty much anything else.
Yeah.
And what's your toppings? Pepperoni, bacon, what?
I'm born. I like green peppers.
That's it?
Yeah, cheese and green peppers.
No meat on it, huh?
No, I'm willing to eat the meat, but I'm always, I don't know. I like the cheese and the crust more than I like the meat.
Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. So I want to keep asking you just kind of random questions because we've talked before, so we just want to make this more about getting to know you personally. So my question I got for you is, and it's gonna be a 2-part question. Have you ever been offered a fight that you turned down, and then flipped? Who has turned down fights with you?
Nope, I've never turned down a fight.
Okay.
I've been very prideful. Anyone could offer. I'll never say no. I never will.
Okay.
There are probably some fights that I don't want.
Sure.
I've never said no. I actually, my fight against Paul Bradley, it was for King of the Cage. It was up in northern Wisconsin, and we were the main event.
Yeah.
The co-main event, it started raining. And the promoter came up to me and said, "All right, guys, it's going to be no contest no matter what. But if you guys fight, I'll give an extra $1,000 to the winner." I said, "All right, let's do it. Sign me up."
Yeah.
So we went out there, and it was like a slip and slide. We couldn't stand up, and I hit him once, and then he slipped, and then I slipped, and then he crossed. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the owner of the casino actually came out and called the fight, and so they split the $1,000 for the two of us. But that's just me. I love what I do, and I will always answer that call.
So who was winning the fight up until that point?
You know what? I dropped him, but then he crawled on top of me.
Okay.
So it was probably him.
Okay, so you owe Paul Bradley $500.
No. It was canceled. The fight was canceled.
Okay. Okay. All right. So how about the flip side? Who's turned down a fight with you?
I have no idea. Like I'm always teasing myself. I'm not the most athletic looking person.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch me fight, I'm not the most fluid fighter ever. And there's something between those two things. People always think they can, quote unquote, knock that smile off my face.
Yeah.
And no, they can't.
Well,
I've never had anyone back out that I'm aware of.
Yeah, one guy that you've beaten in the past is Daniel Kelly. It seemed like he has the same thing where people are always calling him out, want to fight him, and then they get in the ring with him and he changes their opinion really soon.
Yeah, man. Did I? It turns out I got pretty lucky with that fight.
Yeah. So we always do this thing. It's called the fan forum question. This one comes from Brady Greer. He's from Caryville, Texas. And he wanted me to tell you that he's a big fan of yours. I told him I promised I would. His question is, did any fighter inspire you to be a professional fighter?
The answer is no. I was well into my professional career before I realized that this could actually be a career. I didn't know about the UFC until I was, 7-1 as a professional.
Yeah.
But no, I just thought, I'll do that. And then I graduated college, and I had my plans made, and then people just kept kind of paying me more and more.
Yeah.
It was never a lot until I got to the UFC, but it was enough to keep me coming back.
Sure. Yeah, he must not have listened.
I did.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you. That he must not have listened to our first interview because you told us that you were a I can't remember, was it saxophone? Was it you played?
Trumpet.
Trumpet, yeah, the most badass trumpet player in the world, right?
Yeah, so something like that.
All right, so let's do some quick predictions. Your teammate is fighting this weekend, Sean Strickland. He's going against Kamaru Usman. What's your prediction for that fight?
TKO round 2 for Strickland.
Okay.
And I'm telling you all, if you're listening to my voice, put big money on Sean. He's like plus 265 right now. Insane odds. And the reason they're like that is because Usman is ranked number 11.
Sure.
And Sean's last fight wasn't that great. It was a split decision, kind of a boring fight. But Sean's going to wreck this kid.
Yeah, his last fight was what? Was that the Tom Breeze fight?
Tom Breeze, yeah.
Yeah, that was a close
Before
fight.
that, he had a TKO to Alex Garcia, and I want to say the second, maybe the third, and then he had Tom Breeze, and it wasn't a great fight. But Sean's weight cut went fantastic this time around, and he's been training with far better wrestlers than Usman, and that's kind of all Usman has is the wrestling.
So I remember last time we talked to you, it was in November, and that night your teammate Fernando Gonzalez was fighting Michael Page, and obviously Michael Venom Page is a big star in Bellator. He was a huge favorite, and you said he's going to shock the world, Fernando Gonzalez. And unfortunately, he didn't get the decision, but it was a split decision win that a lot of people scored for Gonzalez. So if you're out there betting, you might want to listen to Sam because he almost called one of the biggest upsets of the year last year, and he's calling it again.
Yeah, that was another one of those fights that wasn't that great, but Fernando won that fight.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the judges can say what they want, but Page ran. It just ran and ran and ran.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who scored it for Gonzalez, and I remember the whole time watching that fight, it was like Sam told us he he could win. So let's hear the prediction for your fight. How are you winning?
My fight?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I submit him in the third.
Submit him, okay. Submit him in the third round.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Go ahead, call me a liar.
That's right. No, no, I wasn't calling you a liar. I was setting this up. So all you guys, we got a lot of people who like to bet. You heard it from Sam himself. Parlay Sean and Sam together. You have a big payday in a couple weeks. My very last question for you, Sam. We wanted to get you out of here. We know you're very busy. We appreciate you coming on. We want to make sure you get some time to play some video games and stuff. So my very last question to you, Sam, is: have you submitted to the takeover?
Have I seen what?
My last question is: have you submitted to the takeover?
I'm Smiling Sam Alvey, and I have submitted to the takeover.
Sam, we want to wish you luck in your fight. I'd say welcome to the MMA Takeover family, but you're already in, so welcome back. And ladies and gentlemen, that was our interview with Smiling Sam Alvey. Make sure to check out his fight on April 22nd at UFC Fight Night 108 against Thales Leites. Also, to continue to receive the best MMA coverage, head over to our website, themmatatakeover.com. That's TheMMATakeover.com. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Thanks for listening.